What a dreadful game. Absolutely awful. Rangers just can't find the back of the net. Dominated the entire match but couldn't break through the defense. The scoreline doesn't even reflect how things went. This just won't do. A bitter defeat, especially after wasting at least 4 chances in the first half and then coming out even worse in the second. And to concede that goal right at the death? Ridiculous. The chaos off the pitch isn't going away. Chris Sutton says we're still in the title race, but Keith Wyness is warning that no serious investors are biting. Now we've got a player eyeing a comeback for £20,000 a week. Meanwhile, a young talent might walk away from Aston Villa for next to nothing, and Clement's under fire, defending transfer decisions that already look like gambles gone wrong. Before I spill the beans, hit that like button and stick around until the end so you don't miss any of the nitty-gritty details. Chris Sutton's having a bit of a rethink, eh? He's not writing off Rangers from the title race just yet, and that's after Celtic's 2-2 stumble against Aberdeen at Parkhead. Now it's all eyes on Rugby Park, where Philippe Clement's lads are set to square off with Killmarnock today. If we bag the win, the gap to the top shrinks to 3 points, still behind both Celtic and that new wildcard, Jimmy Thalen's mob. BBC pundit Sutton is giving us a bit of respect, admitting there's still life in our title hopes. On Radio 5 Live's 606, Sutton said you have to take Thalen's lot seriously this season. And fair play. Aberdeen gave Rodgers' crew a proper scare, didn't they? 2 goals down and then rallying back. But they'll be kicking themselves for not sealing the win. It's true, Aberdeen are looking sharp this season, far from just filling out the numbers. They had Celtic on the ropes, and with a bit more luck, could have walked away with all 3 points. So Clement's boys need to be on it from here. No room for any more slips after that sluggish start to the season. Last season, we had chances like this and let them slide. How many times did we all groan leaving Rangers thinking, same old story? Clement needs to prove this time is different. Are Aberdeen actually a bigger threat to Rangers' title hopes than Celtic this season? With the way things are going, who should we be more worried about? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Keith Wyness has only gone and thrown a spanner in the works, hasn't he? The former Aberdeen chief reckons Rangers aren't exactly catching the eye of big-money investors right now. Apparently, the lack of TV cash in Scotland and all the uncertainty around European spots makes the club a tough sell. And Wyness spilled to Football Insider that a Far East investor might still be sniffing around, while there's talk of a US consortium eyeing us up too. But with no long-term chairman, CEO, or head of football in place, it sounds like it's chaos behind the scenes. Clement's boys being 5 points off Celtic already and missing out on Champions League didn't exactly help either. Wyness called it difficult and worrying days for the club, and he didn't sugarcoat it. He said Rangers aren't all that appealing to investors right now. With TV money being peanuts and European football no longer a guarantee, it's not hard to see why the big hitters aren't queuing up just yet. Honestly, it makes you wonder, is the club stuck spinning its wheels, or is this just a bumpy patch we'll fight through? Either way, sounds like we've got a bit of soul-searching ahead. With the way things are going off the pitch, do you think Rangers are losing their edge and falling into mediocrity? Or is this just part of the rebuild we need? Are the board and leadership blowing it? Or do you reckon we'll come out stronger on the other side? Michael Gannon thinks bringing Ryan Kent back to Rangers on a free transfer would be a massive gamble, even if the wages are around £20,000 per week. Kent's been linked with a shock return to Rangers after cutting ties with Fenerbahce by mutual consent last week, according to the Scottish Sun. While Gannon reckons Rangers need to think about signing a new left-winger in January, he's warning against splashing out £20,000 or more each week on Kent. He wrote in his Sunday Mail column, Clement needs to figure out how much dosh he's got and where it needs to go. The team is still short of muscle in the middle, but the wide left position needs attention. Oscar Cortez is still an unknown due to injuries, and Rabbi Matondo continues to be an enigma. Spending more than £20,000 a week on Kent after 2 seasons of hardly kicking a ball seems like a risk Rangers simply can't afford. Gannon's being a bit dramatic. Kent played 44 games for Rangers in the 2022-23 season, before moving to Fenerbahce. But it's true that his stint in Turkey didn't go as planned, managing only 622 minutes of game time across all competitions. Mourinho's arrival didn't help either, as Kent only made one appearance this season, a 4-3 win against Lugano in the Champions League qualifiers back in July. Philippe Clement, however, hasn't entirely ruled out a potential return for Kent. He's a fan of the player and tried to sign him for Club Brugge before Kent chose Rangers in 2019. Clement said he knows Kent well but isn't entertaining rumors about bringing him back just yet. With long-term injuries to both Matondo and Cortez, Rangers are thin on wide attacking options, making a return for Kent a possibility. However, for that to happen, Kent would need to accept a significant wage cut. Rumor has it he was earning around £30,000 per week at Fenerbahce, but Clement and Niels Koppen are focusing on reducing the wage bill at Rangers, so that kind of money is off the table. Ultimately, a Kent return might feel like an admission that neither the player nor the club moved on as planned, but with both in need of a fresh start, it might just work out for everyone involved. Would bringing Ryan Kent back be a smart solution for Rangers' left-wing problems, or is it just a sign of desperation and failed recruitment? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Is this a move forward, or are we stuck looking back? Looks like young Rory Wilson's Premier League adventure isn't going exactly as planned. The former Rangers talent, now at Aston Villa, is locked in a contract dispute, not about wages, but over the lack of a clear path into Unai Emery's first team. Wilson, who left Rangers for Villa after banging in goals for fun at youth level, was expected to make waves. But with little sign of first-team action, the lad's not keen on extending his contract, even though Villa have apparently offered him multiple 5-year deals. His current deal runs out next summer, and if things stay as they are, he could walk for as little as €270,000 in training compensation, as long as he joins a club outside England. This situation puts Rangers in an awkward spot too. When they sold Wilson, the deal included a potential 7-figure payoff with add-ons, plus 10% of any future transfer fee. But if he leaves for peanuts, Rangers won't see much from the move, making this dispute one to watch closely. Do you think Wilson made a mistake leaving Rangers too early? Or was it the right move even if it hasn't paid off yet? Get stuck into the comments. Is the grass really greener? Or did the lad jump ship too soon? Philippe Clement has come out swinging in defense of the decision to sign Oscar Cortez, despite the Colombian winger's miserable run with injuries since arriving at Rangers. Cortez, who joined in January on an initial loan from RC Lens as part of a £4 million loan-to-buy deal, has barely had time to settle before being sidelined repeatedly. The 20-year-old picked up a season-ending injury at Rugby Park just 7 games into his Rangers career. Things got worse when he limped off again on the first day of this season against Hearts, followed by another setback during training. Now, he's still several weeks away from rejoining the squad, piling pressure on the club's recruitment team and medical setup. Clement has promised to overhaul Rangers' training regime to reduce injuries, aiming for 90% availability across the squad. And in his recent comments, he insists Cortez was simply unlucky, stressing that the player had no history of injuries at Lens or in Colombia before joining. He didn't have one injury before he came to Rangers. It's not like we brought in a player with a long history of issues, Clement emphasized. He made it clear that the days of signing injury-prone players are behind Rangers, subtly hinting at past transfer failures. In the past, there were several signings where players already had injuries before they came, and it just kept happening. But with Oscar, this is just bad luck. Clement's words echo those of Rangers recruitment director, Niels Koppen, who also backed the Cortez deal, saying the club remains confident in the winger's long-term potential. He came with a blank injury record, no issues, nothing on his scans. We've signed him on a 5-year deal because we believe he can deliver value over time. Given Cortez's ongoing injury struggles, do you think the club made a reckless move signing him, or was it just a case of unfortunate timing? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Did Rangers take a gamble they couldn't afford, or does Cortez still have time to prove his worth? What do you think about that? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't seen the big news from yesterday, I'll leave it here on the screen. Go check it out. It's a great video.